All right, let's talk about something that causes so much stress for both pets and their people. That intense, overwhelming fear of loud noises. Thunderstorms, fireworks, maybe even just the vacuum cleaner. We're going to break down why this happens and, more importantly, what you can actually do to help your furry friend through it.
Does that sound familiar? I mean, this is from a real pet owner, and it just perfectly captures that awful feeling of helplessness, right? You see your best friend suffering, it's turning your whole house upside down, and you're just desperate to make it stop. Well, if you're nodding your head right now, the first thing you need to know is you are absolutely not alone, not even close. Research shows that almost half, 49% of all dog owners say their pet has some kind of sensitivity to sound. It's an incredibly common problem.
Okay, so to really solve this, we first have to understand it. Where does this even come from? Why does a sound that we might find annoying trigger such a massive, terrified reaction in our pets?
So here's a really key way to think about this. This fear, it's not a bug, it's a feature. It's a survival instinct that's hardwired into them. Out in the wild, being jumpy about a sudden weird noise could be the difference between life and death. The problem is when that totally natural instinct gets cranked up to 11 and becomes a full-blown phobia in our modern, noisy world.
So how do you know for sure that it's fear you're seeing? Well, our pets are constantly talking to us with their bodies. You just have to know the language. Some of these signs are super obvious, right? Shaking, hiding, whining, but others are a lot more subtle. Things like lip licking over and over, or yawning when they're definitely not tired. These are all little signals that your pet is feeling seriously overwhelmed.
Okay, so we know how to spot the problem. Now for the good stuff, the solution. And the great news is there is a proven step-by-step plan for treating this. It's not just one thing, but a whole strategy that works together.
I want you to think of it like a three-legged stool. You've got environmental management, that's controlling the world around your pet. Then you have behavior modification, that's actually changing how your pet feels about the scary sound. And finally, medication, which helps get their brain calm enough to learn. For this to really work, you need all three legs of that stool to be strong.
Let's start with that first pillar. This is your first line of defense, especially for predictable events like 4th of July fireworks. You want to create a safe spot. Think a cozy closet or an interior bathroom where sounds are muffled. Then you can turn on a fan, some music, or the TV to create white noise that helps drown out the booms from outside.
Now, managing the environment is great for in-the-moment help, but it's kind of like a Band-Aid. Pillar 2, behavior modification, this is where the real long-term healing happens. This is how we teach our pets that they don't actually need to be afraid. But, and this is a big but, it has to be done the right way. The gold standard technique has a bit of a mouthful of a name, desensitization and counter-conditioning, or DSCC for short. It sounds super technical, but the idea is actually really simple. Desensitization just means you play a recording of the scary sound, like thunder, at a volume so quiet your pet barely even notices it. And counter-conditioning means while that super quiet sound is playing, you give them something they go absolutely crazy for.
What we're doing here is basically rewriting an equation in our pet's brain. Right now, their brain says, thunder equals terror. We want to slowly, carefully change that equation to thunder equals string cheese, or hot dogs, or whatever their absolute favorite high-value treat is. We're changing the emotional association from something awful to something awesome.
Okay, this is so important. There's a right way and a very, very wrong way to do this. The wrong way is called flooding. That's when people think they can just blast the scary sound at full volume until the pet gets over it. Please, let me be crystal clear. This is not only cruel, it's dangerous. It can make the fear a million times worse and lead to a state called learned helplessness, where the animal just completely shuts down. You never, ever want to do that. DSC is the only humane and effective path forward.
And that brings us to our third pillar, medication. It's really crucial to think of medication not as a magic cure, but as a tool that makes everything else possible. See, when a pet is totally panicked, their brain is swimming in stress chemicals, and they literally can't learn anything new. The right anti-anxiety medication can lower that anxiety just enough so that their brain is ready and able to learn.
And just like any good toolbox, there are different tools for different jobs. For those predictable, one-night-only events like New Year's Eve, a vet might prescribe a fast-acting med that you give just before things get loud. But for more frequent, unpredictable things, like a whole stormy season, they might go with the daily medication that helps maintain a calmer baseline all the time. This is definitely a conversation to have with your vet.
Now, I have to give you a really critical warning. There's a drug called acepromazine that has been used for a long time. Please listen to this very carefully. ACE is just a sedative. It makes your pet's body unable to move, but it does nothing to reduce the fear in their brain. Can you imagine? The animal is still absolutely terrified on the inside, but now they're trapped in a body that can't react. It's not a real anti-anxiety drug, and it should not be used for noise phobia.
So we've covered the what, the why, and the three-part how. Let's pull this all together and talk about what this means for your pet's future, because I really want you to know there is absolutely a path forward.
And if you need a reason to feel hopeful, just look at this number. This is incredible. Studies have shown that when you combine behavior modification, our DSCC, with the right kind of medication, you see improvement in over 90% of dogs with storm phobia. Success isn't just possible, it is the most likely outcome.
So, where do you start? Right now, here's your action plan. Step 1, talk to your veterinarian. Confirm the diagnosis and go over all these options. While you're at it, set up that safe spot in your home. Then, start looking into a good gradual DSCC program. You can find recordings of sounds online. And just burn this into your brain. Never, ever use flooding. Remember, you're on a path that can truly give your pet their peace of mind back.
The whole point of this is to give you the knowledge and the confidence to be your pet's biggest advocate. You now have the framework to make a huge difference in their life. So I'll just leave you with this to think about. What is the very first step you're going to take to create a calmer, safer world for your best friend?